For 80 years, the Robichaux family has served our country. Their family's decades-long service in the Marines stretched over 3 generations. But that all came to an end this week due to the COVID-19 vaccine mandate. Here with me to discuss is Chad, Hunter, and Hayden Robichaux. Thank you all so much for joining me.
Thanks, Samantha, for having us on.
Of course. Now, Hayden, I want to start with you because as of Monday, February 14th, you are no longer a Marine. Can you talk about what exactly happened with the COVID-19 vaccine mandate? And did you take any steps to sort of prevent this from happening?
Yes, ma'am. So the first thing that happened before all the vaccine mandates came out, before everything, it came to obviously our military first, and that came down from the Secretary of Defense. And so what ended up happening is they asked people, would you like to get the vaccine? It started out as a choice, and then it became mandated. And they said, you have this long to get it. Otherwise, you're going to be dishonorably discharged or court-martialed from the United States Marine Corps. And what I ended up doing to fight it is I had my dad. I had plenty of people around me. I put in a religious exemption, hoping that they would accommodate my religion and my beliefs as a person. They didn't. I got it back denied about a month later. And so I took the next step and I appealed to the Commandant of the Marine Corps. And that also came back denied. And then the last appeal I could take was to the Secretary of the Navy, and they told me that I can't even push that one up. So I tried everything in my power because I want to honorably serve and I don't want to be forced to do something and forced out, but I have to stand up for my beliefs at the end of the day, and it's unfortunate.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that is so unfortunate. As I mentioned, your family has been serving our country for over 80 years. Chad, I want to ask about your own dad and who served in the Marines, and give us some background for his service and more generally your family's own service.
Yeah, well, like you said, my family has proudly served our country for over 80 years. We have 13 combat deployments in my family, from World War II to Korea, Vietnam, and Afghanistan. My dad began our service to the Marine Corps, which was 53 years ago. And the Marine Corps specifically, with 53 years, we did 11 combat deployments for the Marine Corps to serve our country. My father served as an infantryman in Vietnam, a rifleman. I served as a Force Reconnaissance Marine. I did 8 deployments to Afghanistan. And my oldest son, Hunter, as an Anglico Marine, served in Afghanistan. And, our family loves our country. We're a very patriotic family. Service is part of who we are. I raised both my boys to believe in service to others beyond themselves. And they both made the decision to join the Marine Corps. Hayden was the last one. Hayden wanted to follow in the footsteps of my dad, myself, my uncles who served in World War II in Korea, and he wanted to serve in the footsteps of his brother, his older brother, who served in Afghanistan. So he wanted to continue that legacy for our family by serving our country and helping people around the world who can't help themselves. That's what we strongly believe. And so he enlisted in the Marine Corps. I think one of the things significant to say about our family is not only did we serve in the Marine Corps, but we served honorably, but we excelled. I raised my boys to excel at everything. From wrestling to martial arts, and they did no different in the Marine Corps. Hunter, when he went in, he got a meritorious mast for his excelling above his peers in his initial training. Hayden was graduated as a squad leader in Marine Corps boot camp, which is there's only 4 squad leaders in a platoon, and usually 1 to 3 recruits will get promoted, meritorious promoted out of boot camp. It's a very rare thing. He got a meritorious promotion out of boot camp to go up in his rank. He had a very difficult MOS school and excelled there, and then checked in his unit. And it was I know a lot of people in the Marine Corps, so they were like, man, your son's a rock star. He's a stud. He's like top physical performer in his platoon. He's doing like 35 pull-ups, which any less I'd be pretty upset with him. And so they did a very good job for the Marine Corps and went above and beyond. And all that changed with this vaccine mandate. And it all came under the guise of readiness. Now, readiness is a pretty broad excuse for the military. So they're saying we have to have this vaccine because we're not ready to deploy if we don't have it. So everybody 100% across the board has to have it. And the truth is, and this was asked in the court case for the 30 Navy SEALs in Texas, when the court case hit, the judge asked us in Texas, if it's on readiness, has there been an incident in the last 2 years of COVID where a unit has not been ready or has not accomplished their mission because no one was vaccinated? And the answer is no. And they had to answer that in court. The answer is no. So this isn't about readiness. This is about politics and pushing this on our troops with no consequence to the fact that these young men and women raised their hand, made an oath to serve, and their livelihoods are depend on it now. Hayden is newly married. He has a pregnant wife right now. And he just lost his benefits for himself. He lost his healthcare benefits for his pregnant wife and his newborn child. He lost his college benefits by getting a general under honorable conditions with a commission of a serious offense for misconduct. That's what his discharge is for. And our family ended 80 years of honorable service based on misconduct and killed our legacy over this political vaccine.
Yeah, it's been really interesting to see how these vaccine mandates have been playing out throughout the country, and especially for our military. I was looking back and I read that, vaccine mandates aren't necessarily new to the military, right? We've seen these vaccine mandates before. What do you think about this vaccine is different from what we've seen in the past? I don't know. Whoever wants to, I guess, Chad, you can answer that because you've had experience with probably having to get some of these vaccines.
So everybody served in the military has got a lot of shots, and most of the time we don't even know what the shots are. And we trust, but as service members, you trust your government, you trust your leadership, you trust your military. Unfortunately, that trust in this case has been broken right now. As a young Marine, I would have never asked, "What are you shooting in my arm?" Like, hey, put it in me. I trust you. You got my best interests in mind. I'm going to go and do the job that you're sending me out to do. That has always been the case for me. The first time this was questioned was anthrax, but anthrax was different because anthrax was a legitimate vaccine and there was a real reason to have it. So there was some debate there, but everyone pretty much came along. This is different. This is different in the fact that we know it to be political. We know that more veterans have died of suicide in the last year than died of COVID. So do we really care about our service members? Also, we know that and this is not contested, we know that if you get the vaccine, you can still transmit COVID. You can still catch COVID. And so what's the reason to have the vaccine? And we're really seeing real numbers and real science on the fact that people are having adverse effects, particularly young, healthy people like Hayden, at 21, 22 years old. These young men are having pulmonary issues. We just had a Navy SEAL candidate die in Hell Week 2 weeks ago from pulmonary issues. He had just got the vaccine. So we see so many people dealing with things that are questionable. And we know that the reasons behind the vaccine are not just reasons. And so now we're at a point to where the difference is we trusted our leadership before. We trusted our military. But now we're seeing leadership doing things, not because they're right, not because it's in the best interest of our military or national defense, but because it's the political line that they're trying to follow. And I tell you that the biggest concern of this, obviously it's the troops, the welfare of our troops, because Hayden's my son, and I care about him. But I think even bigger consequence than that is our national security. This is absolutely a national security issue. If we really want to talk about readiness, how are we being ready on the brink of the president pushing us into war with Russia and us being on the brink of having to defend Taiwan while the Chinese are trying to invade Taiwan? How is it the right call for national security to kick out over 10 to 20,000 of our troops? By the way, not just our troops, but the ones that are willing to stand up for principles and the ones that have strong moral faith. These are our best troops. How is it in the interest of national security to kick these guys out? A lot of people believe, and I may be one of them, that believes this is a purging of people who will not comply with our government, no matter what they say. And I think it's a real test of our leadership. And unfortunately, it's compromised it's compromised a lot of our leadership to show how far they're willing to go to do whatever's told to them, and not make their own have their own decisiveness for what's best for the troops, what's best for troop welfare, and what's best for our national security. I mean, people are not speaking up the way they should be speaking up. And again, that's one of the reasons I'm extremely proud of Hayden. But this is a national security issue.
Hunter, I want to get your thoughts on the conversation we're having here, and what has it been like to watch your brother go through, being basically kicked out of the Marines, something, as your dad was talking about, has been part of your family for so long. Obviously, you're a Marine as well. So what has it been like for you to watch your younger brother go through this?
Well, it's hard to see any Marine go through something, because in the Marine Corps, you earn the title of Marine. It's not given to you. It's not given to anybody that doesn't make it through. And it's almost like, in a way, the title of Marine is being taken away from these Marines that are getting kicked out because of these vaccine mandates. And it's pretty hard. It's hard to watch my little brother, that has always wanted to be a Marine, for the past few years, get pushed out because of a political ideology. And everybody can have their own opinion on the vaccine, what if they think it's right, if they think it's wrong. But if you're going to kick out the men that you're asking to die for your political beliefs or your country and freedom, there's something wrong. You're taking away combat readiness. This nation depends on combat readiness. Our Marine Corps is something that is so special. We can be anywhere in the world within 72 hours with an entire division of Marines, and we could storm a beach and protect the United States if we have to. And we're kicking guys out because they won't get a shot. That's not right. I mean, we wear the cloth of Marine, but we're getting kicked out of the Marine Corps by politicians that have never even served in our military. And I think if they are telling someone that they need to get a vaccine that is in the military, they need to go to Afghanistan, they need to go to Iraq, they need to go to Syria, they need to go somewhere, and they need to get shot at, and they need to feel the pressure of combat, and then come back and tell us that we need to get a shot. I'm all about people having personal choice and freedom in whatever aspect it is in their life, but don't force it on the military, and don't punish us because we don't want to get something that hasn't been scientifically tested throughout time. I'm all about the flu shot. I mean, obviously, big pharma is a big discussion with a lot of people, but if you want to get the flu shot, get the flu shot. It's been tested over the years, and people may die from it, but it's still something that isn't like this COVID vaccine where it's being forced on someone. I was in Afghanistan, and we didn't get our flu shots, and that didn't affect our combat readiness. We just didn't have time to go get our flu shots. It never hindered us from doing a mission, an operation. We kept on course, and we didn't even get the flu shot when we got back from Afghanistan. So I don't know why this is such a big thing where they're kicking guys out because they won't get a vaccine. The military has always been a guinea pig for tests, and this is, I think, the biggest test of the military.
You have guys that are in right now that maybe have 6 months left on their contract, and they're not having to get the vaccine because, it's like they're going to retire in 6 months. So we're not talking about everybody 100% being vaccinated.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting. So basically 6 months left, you don't have to get vaccinated, but long term, if you were planning to stay in the Marines, then you would have to get vaccinated.
Right. So is it really a pandemic? Is it really a fact that if one person is not vaccinated, the whole unit's going to be not ready? Of course it's not. This is common sense stuff that people just want to ignore common sense and do what they're told, to put their head down and do what they're told. And, and we see it happen. I mean, for God's sakes, if you've flown in an airline in the last few, you got all the former hall monitors are now flight attendants with no common sense at all, telling you to pull your mask up every 5 seconds, or pull you. The other day I was told that it was okay to take it down so we could eat, but as soon as eating time was over, we all got information that now we have to put it back on because COVID's contagious again. I mean, most people have no common sense in this that are pushing this, but for that to infect our military is really disturbing to me, when our leadership in our military is willing to put their head down and just ignore common sense and ignore what's practical to just push this agenda, this political agenda, and not stand up for it. It's very scary. It's not just scary for me. I believe it should be scary for every American because our national security is at stake. And what Hunter brought a great point up is that the consequences to these troops as political collateral damage of this is horrible. I mean, Hayden is in a different situation. Our family is going to take care of him. Our family is going to make sure he transitions well. We're going to help him fight this because I have generals still in active duty that are fighting this behind the scenes, and colonels, and we have lawyers, and but so many people don't have what Hayden has. So many young troops are going to be there. They joined the military because they didn't have a family, they didn't have support, and they're forced to either get the vaccine against their will or to get this dishonorable, other than honorable discharge with the on misconduct, and maybe never be able to get a job the rest of their life. You go work at McDonald's, and the first thing on that application is, did you serve in the military? Yes. Did you get an honorable discharge? You have to answer no. It's going to affect them the rest of their life. They can't get their college benefits. If they're in a situation like Hayden, have a family, have a pregnant wife and a baby on the way, they don't have their medical. This is wrong. And it's horrific that they would do this. And Hayden, and I'll let Hayden speak for himself, but they tried to strip away the fact that he earned the title of United States Marine. And by the way, he is a Marine Corps veteran. He earned the title of United States Marine. He served honorably. And, but they tried to take that away from him on his out process. And Hayden, you could talk about that.
So, just to add on those things that were said, yes, throughout the whole process, me fighting it and everything, obviously people were getting upset that I would try to stand up for myself. They would want me to take the easiest way and just get it, and stop fighting what's basically inevitable and getting separated from the Marine Corps. I didn't really let it bother me too much. But they would say mean things like, you don't deserve to be a Marine, you didn't earn it, stuff like that, even though nobody could ever take that away from me. Nobody could ever take that away from any Marine. So to those people, like, I don't know, there's just something wrong, I guess, with their mindset. And I don't want to speak on that too much, but there's definitely a lot of mistreated Marines out there going through the same things that I went through. And the way that they did everything at the very end for me, as of yesterday, getting separated, they took all my uniform items, basically, everything up to my belt and my socks. Like, I literally have nothing to show that I was a Marine. And I personally don't think they did that over a vaccine. I think they did that over spite for somebody sticking up for themselves. And I believe that's wrong. I believe that people have the freedom of choice. So that's my side of it. So
how have other Marines reacted to your decision to not get vaccinated? And what has sort of the general mood or morale been like, at least with the Marines that you've been close with and sort of going through this process with?
Yeah, so that's actually a great question. Nothing changes. Nobody's like, oh, you're unvaccinated, like, we can't be by you. I don't think I've met a single Marine that's like that. I was actually aircraft rescue firefighter. So I worked in a station. I would work 48-hour shifts. I would live with 20 other dudes, and that was just the way my life was. Like, I literally just lived with those guys. They would, breathe the same air I breathe, and nothing was different. They didn't treat me any different because I was unvaccinated. Maybe my leadership did, but not my peers and my Marines to my left and my right.
I can't help but notice you're in the car and there are, I think, pillows behind you and a suitcase behind you. Are you moving out, like, as we are doing, like, are you officially going back to Texas right now?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
Wow, that is so crazy. I can't believe it. We got you right in the middle of your move, to really just show our audience that you are, this is real. This is affecting real everyday people. Chad, I've talked to you many times before about Afghanistan and Russia and Ukraine, and to now, and Hunter, I also talked to you as well about 9/11. So now to see Hayden, another member of your family, being impacted by what this administration is doing.
And I was right again on Ukraine. Everything I said on our interview, I'm just repeating now.
You're right about Afghanistan as well. So just one final question. If you all want to talk about this, feel free, but do you have a message for the leadership of our country, whether that be President Biden, whether that be Secretary Austin, about these vaccine mandates?
Yeah, I do. I mean, the world knows better. I mean, you could say whatever you want from through the media and through the White House press secretaries, but the world knows better. I mean, and we're seeing this in the polls. I mean, you got a president of the United States with a under 30% in the 20 percentile approval rating. You see what's happening in Canada right now. The world knows better. The world is becoming informed by the facts. And look, you got Hayden right now. He's kicked out today. He's driving his car with his suitcases and pillows in the back. 2 days ago, he was working with 20 other Marines doing his job as a Marine, and they allowed him to do it. Did they allow him to do it because he was safe from spreading a deadly disease? I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, if he was so dangerous for not being vaccinated when all this started, then why didn't they quarantine him from the group 6 months ago? No, they let him work until the day he got out of the Marine Corps. Completely political. It's an atrocity that our leadership up to the White House would do this to our young men and women who are bravely serving our country. And to those other troops out there that are facing this, like Hayden was, the message I have for them is that people like Hayden will be bravely speaking up for you. And there are people fighting this continuously. Mike Berry, Liberty Institute, General Boykin, who's a great friend and mentor to me. Some amazing people who are fighting for this and fighting for your rights and fighting to get this overturned. There's a bill in Congress right now to not only overturn this, but reinstate the every service member that has been kicked out and will be kicked out. Tragically, that when this bill got proposed, the military hit the gas and instead of dragging their feet to see what was going to happen, they hit the gas and tried to rush people out. They're trying to kick so many people out right now. I do believe this will be overturned. These service members will be reinstated, and there will be justice for our service members because as evil as our leadership wants to be, as political as they want to be, truth and justice always does prevail. And I really believe that's going to happen in this case.
Yeah, I think one big thing is I don't want anybody to have a misconstrued view of our military and especially our Marine Corps. We're just going through a crazy time right now in the United States. And this is hard times create hard men. And I think this is going to pump out some really solid leaders in our military and in our communities. And when we have our next big war, we're going to have a lot of guys that are going to be great leaders. So please don't feel like the Marine Corps itself is bad. I absolutely love the Marine Corps. My dad, my brother, we all love the Marine Corps.
We love the Marines.
We fight for the Marine Corps. This is our blood. This is who we are. We are Marines, and we're not going to let a view that is going on right now of our military completely destroy what the Marine Corps really is.
So just to add on that, yeah, like I said, we're not at all trying to take any bad names on the Marine Corps, as we've done our service honorably, and this is what we fight for. And now we're fighting for the same things that we joined for. We're fighting for freedom, and that's freedom for everybody. And I believe that with what's going on in the world right now, everybody, even people outside of the military, are starting to see that this isn't right. That you shouldn't have to go in somewhere with a mask on and stay 20 feet away from people and be vaccinated at the same time. Like, there's things that this country can mitigate, and I think it's bringing a lot of division, but at the same time is bringing a lot of people together to see that what we need to do as a country. And for all the Marines that are out there going through this as well, just stay strong, and we're going to fight through this all together.